Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Cagesiders. I'm Jeremy Long, along with the coach, Angelo Reyes. How are you, Angelo?
I am feeling terrible that they didn't give the decision to Danny Jacobs, which we'll get to in the show. But it was a great weekend. I actually got to go check out Brett Raymer's house, which is just insane, man. I can't stop talking about it.
Was
it
this
swallows like all these other houses I've ever been in.
Okay.
It's like the biggest house I've seen, at least in Vegas.
Well, I'm so glad you got lost to Brett Raymer's house. Watching fights, I assume, or did you just show up there uninvited as you always do?
There was college football, and he bets a lot, So,
well, you're putting all his business out there, aren't you?
Well, I bet on the Jacobs fight too. I thought Jacobs was going to win. So
yeah, Triple G and Danny Jacobs. So let's get right to it.
All right.
First off, thoughts and analysis, because we kind of covered it last episode.
Yeah, no, I don't know what to tell you, man. A lot of people feel like 6-6 would be a fair. 6-6 is the fair score, which would have been 114, 113 for Gennady Golovkin, and Gennady Golovkin scored the knockdown. So, okay, if that's the score, I can go with that. I really couldn't see a 7-5 for Gennady Golovkin because I actually, for myself, I'd scored it 7-5 the other way for Danny Jacobs. And I could have argued 8-4, but most people will think I'm crazy or I'm biased because I like Danny Jacobs a lot, known him for a while. And in all honesty, I thought it was a great fight. I thought it was great for boxing, and Danny Jacobs just showed everybody exactly how hard this 160-pound division is. So now everybody should start paying attention. David Lemieux still out there. Curtis Stevens still out there. We're going to look for Canelo and Chavez, who's fighting at a catch weight around that 160 weight now. So like I said, Jeremy, I mean, for me, I'm a little bit hurt that Jacobs didn't get the decision, especially in New York, in Brooklyn, his own town, but that's okay. It's all right. GGG's the man. Abel Sanchez is a great coach. I bow down to them undefeated.
So what's next? What's next for First Jacobs?
Rest. Definitely rest.
All right.
Take that $1.7 million and get some rest.
What about Triple G?
I'd like to see him fight Canelo. If Canelo wins.
If Canelo wins.
If Canelo
So the winner
wins,
of Canelo's and Chavez Jr.
I would like it. I don't know if that's what will happen, the politics of boxing and all, but I would like to see it. Canelo versus GGG would be the biggest fight of that division this year.
Yeah, sign me up. The other big news from that fight card was Chocolatito.
Crazy.
Earns his first loss. Earns his first loss.
He lost.
He did lose.
Now, here's what's crazy. Now, Dan Raphael of ESPN.
Raphael.
Or
Sorry.
Raphael, however you want to say it.
I called him something weird on the podcast.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, he scored at 117-111 for Chocolatito. I had Chocolatito winning also. So the thing with this one is I think a lot of times judges will tend to score blood maybe because I felt like Chocolatito, Roman Gonzalez, he had more of the cleaner strikes, and as the matches went on, though it was close on some things, I always felt like as the rounds kept going and as Gonzalez got his rhythm, everything was working for him. It's just that the headbutts that kept happening and all that blood gushing down on Gonzalez's face, I just don't know if that swayed the judges enough to make it be the majority decision. It was, right. Jeremy. One judge had it at a draw, and two of the judges gave it, I think it was 7-5 for
and blood has been known to influence judges.
Yes.
I mean, in fact, you have a story from Julaton.
Yeah.
One of your fighters. We've seen it before.
Yeah, no.
In different fights that blood
influences.
influences.
We taltalked about this on our podcast, right. Which you guys should listen to our podcast.
Cheap plug.
Cheap plug. But when I was assisting Freddie Roach was coaching on Julaton. We had the fight in Planet Hollywood, and I remember looking at Freddie at the end of the fight, and Freddie telling me, "Oh yeah, we totally won this, at least 5-1."
Right.
But at the time, Anna had gotten headbutted, I think it was in the third. So, Freddie's amazing at stopping the cuts, but still lots of blood. Judges saw a lot of blood. So when the scorecards came out, it was 3 different scorecards. One judge had it 3-3. Right. One judge had it 4-2 for the other girl. One judge had it the way Freddie had it, 5-1.
Right.
So again, man, I think blood does kind of take the effect.
Blood does, man. Absolutely. And if he did, it's a shame. It's a shame. But his opponent, who I will not even attempt to say his name.
Sirisaket Sor.
That's why I wasn't going to attempt to do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll just say Rungvisai. He, you know what's crazy?
You sound like an Asian hillbilly. That's what you sound like. Stop doing stuff like that. But he has a great story. He started his career, 1-3?
Yeah,
1-3.
His first 4 fights, he
41.
loses 3, and then he goes like 40 straight, 38 knockouts, and then gets to this #1 position, fights the pound for pound #1 fighter in the world and beats him. It's a crazy story, and here's what's nuts. He didn't even start as a boxer. He started doing Muay Thai first, and then he got into boxing. So Jeremy, just, you got to be happy for this guy, right?
Yeah,
he's
absolutely.
He's like the Thailand version of Pacquiao. Pacquiao from Thailand.
There you go. Well, let's talk a little bit before we go to break about UFC London.
Yes, in our predictions.
We both went 2-1.
We both went 2-1. You bastard.
I lost on Brad Pickett. I bet on Brad Pickett.
Yes, you did.
He ends up getting TKO.
And he was winning, by the way. So
winning.
to your credit, he was winning.
He was winning.
But Chito Vera, man, that
upside the
kid.
head, man.
We talked about his good striking. He used that Muay Thai. He kept doing that low kick. And then boom, hits him in the head. Knockout.
All over.
Right now, I picked Juban because I thought the striking was going to go well.
Yeah.
And Gunnar Nelson. Gunnar Nelson hits him with that nice, I don't know if he learned that from Connor, but he threw that nice little cross that wobbles Juban, and then he finishes him with that guillotine, which was insane.
Beautiful guillotine.
Beautiful
guillotine. Especially more beautiful because I won that bet.
Yes, you did. Yes. But we were both right about Jimmy Manuwa.
Yes,
see? The left hook.
The left hook.
The left hook,
I think we even called it left hook on the show. You
can't hate on the left hook. Jimmy Manuwa is the real deal.
Well, you mixed feelings on Jimmy Manuwa.
Okay,
I think he's dare I say, I know he's gonna end up, if he wins 1, maybe 2 more. It's a very thin heavyweight division. 1 or 2 more gets him a title shot.
Okay.
But he's always had trouble with that upper echelon of UFC heavyweights.
Here's what's crazy is at the end of the fight, he calls out. He says, I want the winner of Cormier versus Anthony Johnson 2, which is a UFC 210, April 8th in Buffalo, right? Okay. But then he also says, and by the way, David Hay, Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing, let's make it happen. So I'm telling you, I'm a Jimmy Manuwa fan. I became even more of a Jimmy Manuwa fan. So I get it. Like right now, I think after that knockout, he's #4. So, but
he was #4 before.
Oh, was he? Okay, maybe he'll be like #3 now, right?
I think when the new rankings come out, he may move up.
All right.
A tick. Also announced was Derek Lewis and Mark Hunt. They're going to get it on in New Zealand.
Yeah, that's
which may end up being his Mark Hunt's last fight. So let's toss the break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Dave, the Pain Train, Mazany, right? A little later on the show. And Julaton, stay with us. We are the Cagesiders.
Welcome back, Cagesider fans. And in studio today, we have with us the champ, the 155-pound EFC champion of the world, Dave, the Pain Train Mazany. Now, before we talk to you, Dave, we want to take a look at this package on what you're up to next.
All right, let's see it.
At EFC 58, the lightweight champion, American Dave Mazany, will defend his title against Cape Town favorite, Don Madge. Will the Pain Train's dominance continue inside the hexagon, or will the Magic Man finally get his hands back on EFC gold? Plus, the former interim bantamweight champion, Ishad Syed, will aim to set the crowd alight against the electrifying showman, Tumasong Madiba. EFC 58, Saturday, 8 April, Grand West, Cape Town. Tickets and broadcast information at efcworldwide.com.
Wow. Well, I'm pumped after seeing that promo of you there, champ. How you feeling? How you doing? I know you're about to get on a plane here in a few days to go to South Africa. Right. Tell us what kind of the mental state you're in to defend your title for, I believe this is your second defense now, right?
This is my second title defense against the guy I was originally supposed to defend the title against. But he got injured a week before the fight, so I had to fight the champ again. to seal the fact that I am the champion. I feel great, but one of the weird things is like, you're thinking about this other man all the time. I'm with my girl, I'm sleeping, I'm eating, I'm dieting. I'm thinking about this other guy. I'm thinking about his combinations, his movements. Every time I'm doing everything, I'm training my butt off. So shots of adrenaline all day. Like,
Shots.
you know, it's an exhilarating lifestyle knowing you're gonna fight another human for money inside a cage while everybody watches worldwide.
Now, when you do go to South Africa, Cape Town, I know you built somewhat of a pretty good fan base there, and I know that Don Madge, the opponent that you're fighting for this title, he's like a hometown hero, so 50-50 when you're over there. Are you ever feeling like you're in danger when you're going into a place where it's not your hometown, or do you feel like, hey man, it's just like home? Like, how are you feeling when going against a hometown guy?
I have not fought in my hometown in probably 8 or 9 years, right? So being the guy on the road, being that guy, that's home to me. I'm on the road when I referee Naga. I referee Nagas on the weekends. Every single fight I've been the underdog. But this is the first time that I'm the second guy out, you know, in the cage, because I'm the champ. He goes in first, I go in second, because I've always been the away guy. I've always been the guy that's not getting cheered for. And finally, I am building a fan base because I'm able to fight for EFC more than once. So for me, it's exciting to be able to interact with fans, build a little bit of a fan base, even if it is in the other side of the country. I think that's the most southernmost cage fight there is. I don't know. I haven't looked at the stats, but it has to be. So,
wow.
yeah.
Well, I know, and we've talked about this before, and we've talked about it off camera, but being the UFC champ, and it's great. You'll always be able to say, hey, man, I was a champion of the world in an organization for MMA, which is very rare. But everybody wants to get to the big dance. Everybody wants to get to the big show. Right. So can you talk to us a little bit about maybe the struggle of what you still have to go through? Because I know you're not a full-time fighter. You have to go through like 15, 16-hour days. What's that like? I mean, like, bring us to a day-to-day Dave Mazany type training camp.
Right. Like one of the guys I really love is C.T. Fletcher, right? He talks about having that magnificent obsession. So to me, what I do, I train people all day. I work Nagas, which is a grappling tournament, which I'm a referee for. I do everything I absolutely enjoy. And if you're doing stuff you enjoy, you're not really working, right? But they are long days. I wish I could focus on fighting a little bit more, but this is the boat I'm in right now. My sister just made it to the UFC. You know, she got that shot. She had a 4-0 record. Fought Sarah McMahon on last minute notice. We're hoping to get that brother-sister combo in there. My sister's been in my corner every time. You'll see her over in South Africa with me. She actually cornered my last fight because a hiccup happened, and my original corner could not make it. So I told Gina, "You're the captain now," like that movie. Like, what's that movie called?
The one with Tom Hanks.
Yeah, I was like, Gina, you were the captain now.
Yeah,
and so Gina took over, and you know, her and I have been a team this whole time. So I would love it if Gina Danger Mazany and Dave the Pain Train Mazany both were a team inside the UFC. That is the end goal, to completely live off of fighting one day in my life.
Wow. I mean, we're definitely rooting for you guys here. 2017 should be a really, really big year for you guys. And I know training at Extreme Couture must be fun. Is there ever, now this is weird, but you know, sometimes brother and a brother, they'll spar against each other.
Right.
Do you ever spar with Gina? Like, you two guys spar, or are you just so big that, you know, like, you hit her too hard? Like tell me that.
We'll drill and we'll spar together.
Okay.
But it's kind of funny, when I was warming up for my last fight, Gina was like, dude, you were throwing, because before a fight, you're just throwing each other around and everything's all crazy. So yeah, I tossed her around pretty good backstage. But yeah, no, being an Extreme Couture is great, man. I'm in a sea full of sharks, and I'm like a minnow trying to get big and get strong and become one of those sharks. So I love being in a gym where there's nothing to do but climb up and become better. So it's great. I love it.
Man, that's awesome. Well, real quick, I want the Cagesider fans to know that you are actually a pro wrestler.
Yep.
And there's something that you were trying to be like a tag teamer with Tom Lawler, I think it was. So talk about this just a little bit, because I know you do pro wrestling sometimes here in Vegas.
At Future Stars of Wrestling, I wrestled Silas Mason, and you know, of course, he cheap shotted me. Tom Lawler came in from behind and saved me. So me and him were looking for a tag team match here in the future. So tune in to Future Stars of Wrestling if you're here in Las Vegas, and see Dave the Pain Train Mazany and the Iron Claw.
Cagesider fans, thank you so much. Thank you, Dave, the Pain Train Mazany, for joining us in studio. Best of luck to you. We'll be rooting for you, of course. And when we come back, Cagesider fans, we get to see Jeremy talk to the champ, Honor the Hurricane Julaton. Stick around.
Hey, Cagesider fans, I'm here on the campus of UNLV with the champ, Anna the Hurricane Julaton. Anna, you're in the last phases of your preparation for your fight on March 25th in Mexico, a small town in Mexico. Not a small town, probably a big town. Can't pronounce it. You know, that's me. So you're in the last phases of your camp. How do you feel so far, you know, nearing, I guess, the big day?
I mean, obviously tired, but it's expected, you know. You have to handle a lot of different things in terms of the sparring, your timing, the nutrition aspect of it, and making sure that even your personal life is in order, you know
Right.
what I mean? But overall, I think everything's been really good. Everyone's been supportive, and you know, I've been putting a lot of work, and we'll be good to go.
Can you kind of describe to us the dynamic between the coach and the boxer on that last day? You're kind of, you know, you've done the hard work, those last tweaks on that final day. Describe that to us.
I mean, it's something that, you know, you share a really special relationship with your coach. You know, obviously
Right.
you see you through the good times and also the bad times, and just through that, it's almost like you have like this invisible conversation that you're already having. It's like, oh, I already know what's happening here because I remember what happened on Monday and the week before that and the week before that and things like that. And so I think that's the most important thing when you go into combat sports, is having that unity and making sure that everyone's all on the same page. And despite how the day goes, whether it's a great day, tough day, because at the end of it all, you have to keep going. You know what I mean? This is all part of the training, and it's all about how you handle it, because it all doesn't count until you actually step into the ring.
Right.
So.
There you go, man. And so, you know, what are you feeling, or what are you feeling? I mean, just the day before. I mean, you kind of right there. It's like the cusp. It's like being on the edge of a cliff, ready to make the jump.
You know, it's interesting because just doing it for the past, I don't know, like a couple decades,
Right.
just with competing and things, you feel the same, but in terms of like getting the butterflies in your stomach, and you feel the heart rate go up a little bit, but while all of that's going on with your body mentally, for me, I feel like, oh, it's like a normal day.
Right.
So it's almost like, it's like that feeling where you're about to do a bungee jump. You're like, oh my gosh, what is this? Or going to a roller coaster, right? But while you're feeling all of those emotions, you're just kind of like, I know exactly what to do. And I think one of the biggest things that stand out in terms of just, you know, training with Coach Angelo, for everything that we've learned in the past, is you got to have a goal. Not having direction or uncertainty is so tiresome.
Right.
You know what I mean? So once you have that, once you have a direction, and depending on all the rule bumps you go through, just as long as you know exactly what you're heading towards, you know, everything seems to be fine, you know, no matter
Right.
how shaky things can be.
I noticed when you guys are training, going back and forth, that there's not a whole lot of wasted movement. Everything is accounted for. Everything is on a schedule. Everything is, you know, how important is that to be, you know, I mean, it's like you guys live in this capsule, and this is the only world that matters right now.
You know, that's the crazy thing. It's easy like that. And once you have a blueprint, it's easy to do. Like, anybody can do it. The hard part is
Right.
it's just balancing everything else. Like, what happens when you have someone outside of your team all of a sudden come in and they give out this certain energy that you're not accustomed to, or they're just not used to it, and then all of a sudden it causes friction and drama. You know,
Right.
just dealing with everyday life, everyday people, that's what makes it hard. That's the challenge. And for me, that's more of how I feel like this training camp is, where by the time I go to the fight, it's like, it's a walk in the park.
Right.
Because you don't have all this, you have all this weight that has just got lifted. You know, it's like, it's finally here, it's scheduled, you're about to step in, and you know it, it's not, and you just experience the purity of it. It's just you and your opponent in that allotted time, and then you just do you.
You know, also with the ups and downs and everything's accounted for, it seems like, you know, there's the periods of, you know, getting in there, throwing your bombs, doing whatever, working your strategy, and then you come out and it's back down again.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's hard sometimes, especially with the social structures. Like, sometimes there's these limitations where people need to act like they need to act a certain way because of who they are.
Right.
And because of that, if something were to go wrong, they don't have a game plan for that. That they don't have like if plan A doesn't work, they don't have a plan B or plan C. And then they start backpedaling, and then they almost feel like that's weakness. When I feel like in a fight, you're gonna get hit. So when that happens, it's all about what you do in that moment. So if you get hit, are you gonna go into a downward spiral, and then let that affect your energy, your aura, your mentality, your focus, or are you gonna be like, okay, be ready for mine?
Welcome back to the show. Jeremy Long here with the coach, Angelo Reyes. Well, Angelo.
Fun show.
What a great show.
Man,
as
fun
always.
show.
Anna
Fun.
Julaton, Dave Mazany.
I know, right?
What do we keep
Two
getting
champions.
We keep getting these great guests.
I don't know how we do it. Who's booking these things?
Who's booking the show?
It's amazing.
That's part of the problem. Who's booking this show?
Part of the problem.
Yeah.
Now, somebody I would love to get booked into the show is King Mo.
King Mo.
King Mo is a friend of ours. I know he comes to Vegas sometimes, trains at the Mayweather gym, but he's fighting Bellator 175 against Rampage.
Yeah, some guy named Rampage. I don't know, some guy like that. Yeah, they're fighting. I happened to be there at the press conference in LA when they announced it, right after Tito Ortiz retired against Chael Sonnen. So, and there seemed to be, it was playful.
Okay.
You know, you got two guys big guys who love to talk and are playful and everything. And then it got a little more serious. I think Tito is serious about this. You know, he's a very active fighter. He's very proud of his work. Rampage is Rampage.
Okay.
You know, he kind of floats in and out of what he thinks is serious or not. Last few years have just kind of been you don't know what you're going to get, but you kind of know what you're going to get from Rampage Jackson. At this point, he wants to stand and trade.
Okay.
He made that known. He wants to stand and trade. But
You really think he's going to stand and trade? Because I'll tell you this, man.
Well, that's not the smart fight for King
No,
Mo.
not at all. I mean,
It's
King Mo, I know that a lot of people know, King Mo's got the good wrestling background and all, but he can box. King Mo, I know over there in Florida, he's boxing with someone named Steve Graffard, and he boxes with a lot of other people, but Steve used to come to Wildcard Gym back when I was at Wildcard Gym, and I know that King Mo's getting great boxing over there. So if Rampage were to trade with King Mo, I see Rampage going to sleep. So for me, I'm picking King Mo, knockout, second round. That's my pick.
There you have it. Well, for everyone here at the Action Channel, I'm Jeremy Long, Angelo Reyes. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time right here on the Cagesiders.
So